Welcome to the Modern Assyrian program on ANB SAT. My name is Carmen Morad. Today's program is a very special presentation at the American Legion in Turlock. Wardee R. Gunner Bruce. Wardee Bruce was born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. He attended grammar school and graduated from Lincoln High School in 1962. Upon graduation, Wardee enlisted in the U.S. Navy. He was supposed to go to photography class. However, the Navy had other ideas. Once the Vietnam War started, Wardee was assigned to Ordnance Branch, and there he remained. He rose through the ranks from E3 Airman to E8 Senior Chief Petty Officer. He was commissioned as Chief Warrant Officer W2 in 1979. That is where the name Gunner comes from. He was promoted to the rank of Lieutenant Junior Grade 02 in 1981 and then promoted to Lieutenant 03 in 1984 in the aviation ordnance field. He was awarded numerous personal and combat medals and citations. He made 5 cruises on 3 different aircraft carriers in Vietnam from 1964 to 1973. He also participated in Operation Desert Storm before completing 30 years in the U.S. Navy. He moved to Turlock in 2001 and worked with troubled youth for 2 years before taking a job at the Turlock Unified School District as Senior Naval Instructor for the Naval Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps for 6 years. Wardee is a lifetime member of the Military Officer Association, Commander of Rex-ish American Legion Post 88, a member of the Vietnam Veterans Association of America, Senior Vice Commander of the VFW Post 5059, current chaplain, and treasurer of the DAV Chapter number 74. Representative District 2 for Supervisor Vito Chiesa on the Stanislaus Military Advisory, an active member of Congressman Jeff Dunham's 10th District Veterans Advisory Committee. He is also the chair of the Education and Job Placement Committee and assistant chair of Outreach Committee. Wardee is married to Gwen. They have 2 kids and 6 grandchildren and 1 great-grandson. Gunner Bruce is totally dedicated to assisting other veterans with their claims, help homeless veterans, and help them receive medical assistance along with their benefits that they have earned. Welcome, Commander.
Welcome.
You are Commander Wardee Bruce of the American Legion in Turlock, and I'd like to really thank you so much for making time to be on this program today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you being here to honor me by interviewing me.
Absolutely. I'd like to begin, first of all, by thanking you for your service, for our country, and for all that you've done, and also for your service to the community, which is what we're going to talk about today. But before we start, I'd like to ask you about yourself, your service, and if you'd be kind enough to give us a little background and biography on you.
Well, I was raised in Kansas City, Missouri, believe it or not. I joined the Navy right after high school. I don't know why, but I went in, and when I got there, I wanted to be a photographer. Unfortunately, I ended up being an ordnanceman. That's the guy that loads bombs on airplanes and weapon systems. So, unfortunately, I had to throw my photography away because the Navy needed ordnancemen. They didn't need photographers. I joined, and after 4 years in the service, I decided to stay because there was nothing else going on. This was prior to Vietnam. So actually, when Vietnam started, the whole game plan changed. And we were working very hard in those first several months. But to make a long story short, I ended up doing 30 years in the military. I started out as enlisted. I advanced to Senior Chief Petty Officer. Then I went Chief Warrant Officer, and then I went what we call a limited duty program, duty officers program, and I ended up being a lieutenant. And then grandfather time caught up with me, and I couldn't make lieutenant commander, so I wanted to revert back to W4, which was my permanent warrant officer grade. Navy had other ideas, but eventually they came around to my way of thinking and let me retire as a W4.
Well, thank you for all of that. That's an incredible career that you've had up to that point. But how lucky is Turlock to have you as a commander?
What's funny is that I was up in Washington State, and my daughter convinced me and the wife to move from Washington State back down to California so we could watch our grandkids grow. So we ended up coming here to Turlock, buying a house, and I messed around for a year, and then I went over to the high school because I heard they had a slot opening for a officer for the junior ROTC program. And I latched on to that and stayed there for about 5 or 6 years. And then I said, oh, I'm going to go do something else. And I ended up in the service clubs. I joined the I was already a member of the VFW. I got very active in it, and I became their quartermaster for a year. Then I came over to the American Legion, got active in that, and I started out as the Sergeant at Arms, and ended up, I've been the commander for the last 7 years.
Yes, you are, and you're very good at it, Gunner. Let's talk about the American Legion.
Okay.
We are so blessed to have you as a commander, because I know, since I have had the fortune of reaching out to you for our different events, for Assyrian events, for the Assyrian American Civic Club of the 70th anniversary, you honor us by your presence, by bringing the ROTC kids and the the honor guard. They have such a presence. They have such an emotion with what they do. So you have always responded every time I've called you for our flag raising ceremonies, and I want you to know how much that is appreciated.
Well, thank you so much.
So let's talk about what the American Legion does and what the services, what the activities are.
We do quite a bit. Like I was saying earlier, we sponsor a Club Scout pack and a Boy Scout troop. We have honored our baseball committee. We had Little League Baseball for a while. I couldn't get a chairman in charge of it anymore, so that hasn't gone very well in the last few years. But we did sponsor the Little League, and it was one of the greatest things we ever done, and we probably will do it again. We also do sponsor JROTC, naturally, and we sponsor their shooting air rifle club. The commander over there has really got those kids shooting good. Last year they won the national championship.
They did, yes.
For, expert shooters. This year they didn't do as well, but they lost all the good shooters. So, but they're still doing it. It's still a great program for a young kid. Also, we have the hall for square dancing. We rent a hall for various parties. We support all the outreach kids, which are the kids with Down syndrome. We support them. We also support different organizations when they want to have a meeting here at the post. We can support that. We do a lot of little things to kind of help out the community if possible. But one thing we love to get is more donations from the community. Now, one way of doing that, every Friday, we have a dinner. It's open to the public. Come on in, sit down and eat a hot meal. I can't tell you what the menu is every day, but we try to get it out on our webpage. And that's at Rexish Post 88. And it's on the website. And you can go on there, click on it, and it'll go down and show you what we have for meals coming up during the week.
So that's one of the ways that the community can give back to what the Legion does. You actually do a lot more than what you just described, but you also have different committees, you have membership and working with other veterans organizations.
We work with the college. We go over to Sand State, and they have a veterans organization over there. We work with them. We also work with Modesto Junior College. They have a veterans organization there. Tomorrow I'm going out to Martin Luther King Center because they're having a job fair. And they didn't invite us, so I'm going to go out and make my presence known.
I love that about you, Gunner. That's wonderful. So you really do take this very seriously.
Oh, yeah. This is like a job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a passion, really. My biggest deal is I want to help everybody that helped me along the way. And if I can do that, I think it's well worth it. If I can get you moving, one of my real good things is I'm a member of Stanislaus County Veterans Advisory Group. And I was appointed by Vito Chiesa.
Supervisor Chiesa, yes.
Yeah, our supervisor. And so as part of this commission, we advise the supervisor. But we also work closely with our county veteran service officers. So if we find a vet that needs help filling out a claim, we get him over there as quickly as we can, get him started, and get him some help and get him funding. It's not always successful because a lot of guys can't remember or document their service-connected injuries. You've got to have a service-connected injury in order to get compensation. And a lot of times, you know, you could serve for 4 years and never get a fingernail cut. Or you could serve and you've been in combat the whole time. And so it's just a flip of the coin. You never know.
There's also benefits that our veterans are subject to that they might not be aware of.
Right.
There are services such as fishing licenses, for example, other amenities that your organization helps them with.
Right. Now, our fishing and hunting license program, you have to be at least 50% disabled in order to get a reduced fishing license or hunting license. That's a high bar for some veterans because I know when I first got out, they gave me 10%. And it was for standing on my feet on the flight deck.
I see.
And so when my knees went bad and other things, as I got older, I had to go reclaim all this and prove that I was there. So it's kind of hard for, you know, you can't remember all that stuff because it happened when you were a kid. You got to remember all guys go into service. They're not grown. They're 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. And most of them get out when they're 22, 23. I, like a fool, stayed a little longer.
Gunnar, let's talk about, for example, how to honor our veterans when it comes to Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Memorial Day is coming up.
Yeah.
And it's very important that we remind members of the community who aren't quite familiar with how Memorial Day started, how it was meant to be, being called Decorations Day to begin with, and how an individual, if they haven't done it before, maybe for the first time, they are aware of how they can honor a veteran or a family of a veteran who is to be honored on Memorial Day.
Memorial Day is one of the biggest days of the year for the American Legion. We participate every year along with our sister organizations, the VFW and Disabled American Vets. We do a community ceremony at Turlock Memorial Park. Our Boy Scout troop puts all the flags on all the veterans' graves at the cemetery. And we put all the large coffin flags. And if anybody has a coffin flag that they no longer want, take it over to Turlock Memorial Park and give it to them. Write your spouse's name on it or your loved one's name on it, and it will be flown every Memorial Day and taken care of, taken down, refolded, and put away. And come to the ceremony. The ceremony starts at 10, and it only lasts until I think about 12:30. We have the Hillmar the Hillmar Orchestra there. We have dignitaries there, and we usually do a ceremony to honor our comrades who passed during the year or passed before us. It's not about us, it's about them. And we have a lot of people that come there and talk to us about that.
And it's open to the public?
Open to the public,
okay,
every year. On Veterans Day, which is another large day, it started out as Armistice Day. A lot of people don't remember that. Armistice is when the World War I was over. So they called it Armistice Day. At the end of World War II, they renamed it Veterans Day. And it's usually on the 11th of November or somewhere, 11th, somewhere in November. But for us, we have we used to have a Veterans Day parade. We haven't had one in years in Turlock. We have a 4th of July parade, but we don't have one for Veterans Day. But we have been doing is going over to the Cannon in Central Park, and we do our honors for our veterans over there. It's also open to the public, and we honor everyone on Veterans Day there. And it's been pretty good for the last couple of years. It's real good.
Okay. So if someone is not perhaps able to attend for some reason and pay their respects, in what other way can they contribute that you recommend that would be beneficial?
They could also fly the flag in front of the house on both days if they want to do that. If they really would like to do something, they could give any organization, either the American Legion, DAV, or the VFW, a donation.
Monetary donation.
Monetary donation to keep doing what they're doing each day for either the veterans or the public, and that's good.
That's a very honorable thing to do, Gunner, for those of us who are so busy in life, who take for granted all the freedom and all the opportunities that we have.
One of the things that really makes me feel good is when someone sees me walking around with my hat on and they say, "Thank you for your service." Because I was a Vietnam vet, came back and people told me, get out of my uniform, don't wear it in front of people because they will spit on you, holler at you, call you baby killers, all that stuff. So it warms my heart when people say thank you for your service. And I know it does the same for every other vet. So
absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
a kind thing to say, and it doesn't cost you anything.
I think that's a very good advice, and we need to be reminded of that, of how we can honor and salute anyone in uniform, that in any services that that they do for this country. Let's talk about some of the former commanders.
Oh, we have a few. Behind us over here is all our commanders from, this is not all of them. We got some more outside that started the post. And we've been here since I know this, we've been at this site since 1981, but we've been in downtown Center Street at the old Juris
Pizza place in downtown, yeah.
Yeah, we had, that used to be the American Legion, believe it or not.
Okay, a
and
little history there.
We had a stage there, and from what the old timers tell me, they had plays, it was really a nice place to go. But older people got too old and the steps got too high, and instead of putting in the elevator, they decided to make a level, flat place, and we end up here. But if you look up there, you'll see by their names, there are 3 of your
of Assyrian Americans here, yes,
that served as our post commanders. And that's wonderful.
It's wonderful, and you know, to learn about this history, to honor them, to honor each and every one of the commanders and those who served, but to raise awareness to our community that, of course, we will take pictures and know a little bit more about when they served, but that's the unique history of Turlock with the Assyrian community.
Well, you know, it's I ran into a friend of mine today, David Johansson.
David Yonan.
Yeah, David and I go back a long way, and I met his mother, I met his brothers, and all of them through David. And you know, we just had a good time. And he said, "Man, I see you all the time. When did the Assyrian deal this?" I said, "I didn't know that."
Yeah, you're very popular. You're a celebrity in the Assyrian community. Well, we do appreciate every time you do honor us with, you know, the Pledge of Allegiance and getting us connected with the ROTC. But I want to take you back to 2016, when I reached out to you and you were kind enough to help me with a special display that we did to honor the late Hank Adams.
Oh yeah,
Hank
what
Adams,
a wonderful guy.
He was, he'll be sorely missed. A wonderful family. Not only did he serve this country in a very honorable way in World War II as a bombardier, but also he was the son of the late Reverend Dr. Isaac Adams.
Yes.
The first settler of Assyrians in Turlock that goes way back.
Right.
And I reached out to you, and you helped me with the display. I know Hank had a Purple Heart.
Yes, he did.
And a myriad of medals and honor items. And you taught me how to display them with a special way of displaying them. And as you remember, and I think we'll play a few for our viewers who perhaps haven't had a chance to see it, how you helped honor Hank. We had representation. The Congressman Jeff Denham was there. Supervisor Video Chiesa was there. We had certificates of recognition for him. He passed away a few months afterwards, and his family still keeps in touch with me, and it meant so much to him that he was honored in that way. And I believe he was 92 or 91 at the time. Yeah, so
he was up in age.
So what you do so matters, and it touches people's lives. It helps raise awareness, Gunner. I have been informed and educated by you on things that it's not just beyond Googling it and reading it. It's hearing it from you. And as a part of our program, we will go ahead and review and take some photos of this very special place, of what takes place here. And we would really like to also let everyone know how they can contribute, how they can donate, how they can participate in the events that you have, that you mentioned on Memorial Day, which is coming up, on Veterans Day, the activities that they can participate in, to fly their flags, to attend Memorial Day commemorations and celebrations, and also on Veterans Day, but also in high schools, to be part of the ROTC. Tell us what the ROTC program actually is for someone who doesn't know.
It is everyone gets the wrong impression because they have to wear a uniform once a week. But it's to teach children responsibility and to give them awareness. If you come to the job prepared, if you have faith in yourself and you know you can do whatever task is set before you, you're going to do extremely well. It's no doubt about it. You be prepared, you be ready, and you will act. And all of it will come through that program where they drill you just a little bit each day, and pretty soon either you like it or you hate it. But then you start registering, hey, this isn't so bad, because I am ready to take on whatever comes my way. And believe it or not, the girls get it twice as fast as the boys do.
Of course. Well, it teaches discipline.
Yes, it
does. And it teaches self-responsibility and honor and respect.
And respect.
Absolutely.
And gives you a code of honor to go by, because you're watching each other and you're protecting each other. And, you know, that's called teamwork. That's something that's very rare these days. Because everybody wants to be an individual. Nobody wants to be a team player. So teamwork is important.
Absolutely, it is. You know, as I was doing some research on some of the activities and what actually the American Legion stands for, when it was chartered, it goes way back to 1919.
Right.
And it was chartered by Congress. And it's a veterans organization, and it's a patriotic veterans organization. So if someone wants to find out more information about how they can contribute, regardless of where they live, because this program will be seen not just in Turlock, it's
everywhere.
Global, yeah. So we would like to raise awareness. I do know that we have Assyrians who serve.
Right.
They are veterans. They are actively serving right now.
Right now, today.
As they are. And we would like to salute and honor each and every one of them.
Yes,
we will also be doing a program on Assyrian Americans who served in the armed forces from World War II.
Oh, that'd be great.
So in 2016, when we honored Hank Adams as part of the Assyrian Festival by the Assyrian Church of the East that takes place end of August at the Stanislaus County Fairgrounds. We did a display of all of the photos and their names.
Right.
There are Assyrian Americans who have graduated from West Point as pilots, commanders, captains, and every level of command. And I think it's important to raise awareness of that.
I agree with you.
An organization in Chicago put that together. And I do know there are members of the community that are watching today that are either nephews, nieces, grandchildren, or great-grandchildren of those individuals.
All right.
And if you hear or see their names, we honor them, because our community is all about giving back.
Right.
Whether they served in this country, whether they have served somewhere else, or as martyrs, as those who have given the ultimate sacrifice to service, to stand for something, for your nation, your way of life, your faith. And as you know, you're familiar with our community, where we are a community that has been discriminated, oppressed, and we've been through a lot of wars, and so honor is very important to us.
You made me fully aware of that a long time ago, and I'm so happy that you did. And I'm so proud that you're taking this time to talk to me today and give my opinions of what the American Legion does.
Absolutely.
But the Assyrian community is one powerful community, and I'm proud to be affiliated with it.
Oh, thank you, Gunner. Well, like I said, this is one opportunity that we get to say thank you to you for your service, for what you're doing.
Thank you back.
Absolutely. And the more kids, you know, there is an estimated 35,000 Assyrians who live in this county. Most of them in Turlock, in your district. So to get our young kids who are growing up, who really need to know how they can be affiliated with the organization, how they can get involved in the ROTC.
We have another program that I haven't talked too much about, but if your grandfather, uncle, aunt, mother was a member of the military, you could join our Sons of American Legion.
Oh, okay.
It's a boys' outfit. I don't know if they take girls yet, But
we have to work on that.
We got to work on that. But they're chartered through us, and we have an organization called Sons of the American Legion. They are their own organization. They meet here once a month, and they have kids from ages 8 all the way up to, I believe, 16, 17 years old. And they do the same things we do, but they do it differently. We do more outreach than in the community. They do outreach in the community. Not too long ago, a couple of years back, I don't know if you remember it or not, but over at the Dodge dealership, they auctioned off a car. And that was done by the Sons of the American Legion.
Okay, okay, that's wonderful.
That was their fundraiser.
Well, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with Wardee Bruce, gunner from the American Legion.
Right. This sitting is at every dinner of the American Legion, the VFW, or any organization. It is to honor those that never return. We have usually there's a salt on the table, there's a rose, all the glasses are turned upside down, saying that they will not return. And it's a deal here that tells you the table is set, is a small one. It symbolizes the fertility of one prisoner alone against his captivities. The tablecloth is white. It symbolized the purity of their intentions to respond to their country call when they arrive. Then you have the rose that symbols something, and it goes on down. But what it is, right here is a POW-MIA that has not came back. This right here is a table setting we put in all our meetings. We put this on a table for honoring all those that did not come back from the war. Over here, I want to show you something that is really nice. Rex Winfield Irish was a sergeant in 5th Regiment, U.S. Marine Corps, 2nd Division, California, in June 23rd, 1918. He was the first Marine or soldier killed in World War I. And this is who our post is named after. This young gentleman here. I think he was 19 years old when he died. Most of the time we load 4 and a spare each launch. 4 airplanes would go, 1 was a spare. Sometimes they launched a spare. So then you'd have to load 5 the next launch. And then by the time they came back, if they were all up, you reloaded them all again. And by the time they came back, if they were all up, you reloaded them again. And this kept on.
You just kept going.
Kept going. They gave you 1 hour and 45 minutes between each flight. An exception would be if they were going to have an alpha strike. If they were going to have an alpha strike, they would launch our airplanes with those SPADs. They would deck launch them because they were so heavy. And they launched them about 1 hour before they shoot off the jets, because they could catch up with us by the time they get over the target. Yeah. And then everybody came back, and it was, you count the airplanes that left, and you count them when they came back.
And so you did that for 9 months?
Yep, every day.
Did you guys lose any planes?
We lost 5 pilots and 7 planes.
Wow.
We are back with the American Legion and with Wardee Bruce, gunner. I want you to explain to me one more time and to our viewers how you got the nickname Gunner.
Okay. I know this is going to everybody gets confused with gunner and gunny. Gunner is a term for a weapons officer in the Navy. When you gunner also is a warrant officer in the Marine. Gunny is a gunnery sergeant in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
So if you say gunnery sergeant is gunny. If you say warrant officer is gunner. So I got my nickname by being a weapons officer in the Navy. Gunner.
And you will always be known as
Gunner.
Gunner.
I will always be known as Gunner.
Okay.
And there are 1,000 of us, just like me, all over the Navy that retired are still using their name as Gunner.
I see.
I run across them all the time.
I love that story because now I can tell others when they ask me, is that his real name or is his nickname? Well, you have earned it. How many years have you been the commander here at this post?
Let's see, since 2010.
Is that an elected position or an appointed
every
position?
Year. It's elected every year. I'm trying to get someone this year to go up and take my position, but they said, oh, you're doing a great job. We'd love to keep you there.
I agree with them. I think you're doing a fantastic job. You do have wonderful leadership skills. You have very good public relations skills, Gunner.
Thank you.
So in closing, is there anything you would like to say to our viewers as someone within your experience, not only as a veteran, but also as someone who served so honorably, not only in the service in the Navy, but as a member of the community? And please share with our viewers what you would like everyone to know about the American Legion.
We are a nonprofit organization, basically, but we do a lot of things for the community. If you notice, when the police department put their new building up, they asked us to furnish that roundabout, which is where all the military flags are. And the Legion stepped up, the Ladies Auxiliary of the VFW stepped up, and the DAV. We all gave them money to purchase that over, I think it was over $4,500 to build that roundabout. We've also done community work where we went out and helped people in the community, especially older vets, clean up their yard. We've painted some rooms for them. We do a lot of stuff. We also get our Boy Scout troop and you know, get them involved doing it because they love to do projects. So we have to get them involved doing it. And we got good leaders in that community, and I'm real proud of them. We also do all kinds of things, but the basic thing I would like for the community to know, we're here. We always will be here. If you find a vet that's having problems, don't hesitate to call us. We're in the phone book. Just call us. One of our people will come out and check on him and see if we can get that veteran some help instead of letting him be there by himself or herself. Whatever, we will do it. And that's about all I can say.
Thank you, Gunner, so much. Thank you again for your service. Thank you for who you are and all you do. And I'd like to shake your hand.
I'd like to shake yours too. Thank you very much, dear.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to have us here as the Modern Assyrian program on ANB SAT. And I think we'll be seeing more of you in the years to come.
I'm pretty sure you will.
Yes, you will. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
This concludes our interview on the Modern Assyrian program. We'll see you next time.